All right, I have 11:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining the session on college and career readiness today for your students. So I hope you can see my screen. The very first thing I want to do today is thank Christine Thompson. She is my room host. So she's going to be helping me as we go along today. If you're having trouble seeing my screen or hearing me, if you can just chat with her in the box, that would be great to let me know so that I can do something differently. Again, thank you so much for joining our call. Our demonstration. I am really excited to share this day with you. If you could please first just answer the first poll question while we wait for others to come in. It's a very quick multiple choice question, and it is, if you can answer, what grades do you believe career exploration should begin? That would be very helpful as we collect data and carry throughout the day. Hi, Susan. It's good to see you here again today. All right, today we are going to go over the agenda. First, I want to welcome you all to our presentation and introduce myself. My name is Melinda Spivey. I am a sales representative for Strivven Media. I am a former longtime educator, CTE, school principal, high school assistant principal, and then district administrator. I was a supervisor of instruction and CTE director in our district. I began my career in a CTE classroom. I was actually raised by a CTE teacher. So my heart is with you all, and I truly appreciate what you do. We're going to talk about the requirements for career research, how we support those requirements as a company. We're going to view the platform and then answer your questions. I know, having been in your shoes, that ending on time is important, and we are going to make sure that we do that today. The very first thing I want to do is play a video for you guys. This is just our tagline video for the year, and it's called Inspiration at Work. It's about 1 minute.
Here's to the achievers, the trailblazers, the disruptors, the first to arrive and the last to leave. The ones who embrace failure as a means to grow. Passionate men and women paving their own paths to create a future they want to see. They take the road less traveled. They fearlessly pursue the unknown. They do more than just dream. They do. And in doing, they're shattering glass ceilings, tearing down stereotypes, pushing new boundaries, and making an impact on more than just the world, but in the hearts and minds of those who matter most.
Students as they begin to search for careers and find what is the place that makes them the happiest. You know, you've always heard that slogan, you never work a day in your life if you love what you do. And so I truly hope that our students can experience that same feeling that we all get, that I hope you get when you step in that classroom every day. It was a feeling that I got when I stepped in my family and consumer science classroom every single day. I loved it. I loved every part of every job that I had in education, and I hope that you do too. And I hope that the struggles that you guys are facing right now with COVID and the challenges, I hope that they don't discourage you. I hope that they will inspire you to creatively think outside the box and how to reach these students. Which brings me to my next question. if you can answer this, what is the greatest challenge that you face in preparing your students to transition from school to a career? And that doesn't necessarily have to be with COVID. It can be with maybe you're in a rural area, or maybe you community support, or maybe there are specific things that you feel like students need. So if you can just answer the question for me, that would be great as well.
So the answers that we're seeing, if you would like me to go ahead and share them with you.
That would be great. Thank you.
Hands-on resources, keeping students motivated, attendance and late policies, motivating them to make concrete plans for their life beyond school, finding ways to open doors they have never imagined. These seem like good answers.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Those are great answers. And you know, I agree with everything that you've said. I don't disagree with any of it. So we're going to move forward to stay on time. So as you all know, it's nothing new that requirements for career exploration are becoming more and more apparent for you as your students enter your doors. And those are not just in career exploration classes. Now we have requirements as part of our standards in a CTE course. So one of the things that, and I pulled this directly from the Perkins 5 PowerPoint that was on the web, to expand opportunities for every student to explore, choose, and follow vertically integrated career pathways. As you all know, we have a requirement with Perkins 5. We have requirements with ESSA. Perkins 5 as early as 5th grade. ESSA as early as elementary school. The new Tennessee Succeeds plan that you guys are following encourages career exploration as early as pre-K. And then the brand new workforce training bill that was signed into law just recently, requiring work-based learning for students as well. So these requirements are not new to you, and I'm going to show you today easy ways that will make this challenge more entertaining and effective for the students, while at the same time meeting those requirements for you. I've just added in, if you haven't, I can't imagine, but I think everyone has probably read this before, but in the Tennessee Strategic Plan Best for All, we do have a requirement in Tennessee for career exploration. How does virtualjobshadow.com support your efforts? Our platform is user-friendly. We have over 300 career profiles representing all 17 career clusters. There are thousands of video pieces in the platform. Our videos are high quality, realistic job shadowing videos with a diverse workforce, non-traditional experiences, as well as special pops. I know in CTE we have a requirement to have non-traditional experience as well as to serve our special pops, and I believe that virtualjobshadow.com does this really well. We are appropriate, this program is appropriate for career exploration classes, work-based learning, and other courses as well, including covering those standards in your CTE classes that require you to show your careers in your cluster to your students. We have high quality assessments for the students, and a feature that you may or may not have seen are our flex lessons, which have proven to be game changing for teachers, and then the students love it as well. So at this time, I am going to take a break from the PowerPoint, and I am going to switch over for just a moment to the platform itself and take you for a tour around the platform. What you see on the screen right now is a student view. When the student logs in, this is what he or she will see. Now, one thing that I do want to point out right here from the beginning as well, having used this program before, we in my district had purchased this platform and we used it. So a few things that I want to point out as we go along that were important to my teachers that you will like as well. I believe the very first thing that I want to show you in the screen now, you also see a teacher or counselor login. The tabs, careers, colleges, jobs, and tools work exactly the same for the teacher and the student. So if your teacher is trying to help those students navigate through the platform, their tabs look exactly like the student tabs. The admin tab and the My Assignments tab are different, and I'm going to show you those as we get through the platform. I'm going to begin in a place we call Career Central under the Careers tab. This is where I believe is the bread and butter to the platform. So this is where your students will actually be able to do job shadowing experiences. So whether you live in a rural area where careers may not be available, or whether you live in a large city and it's hard to find enough placements for all of the students that you need to get job shadowing experience, the platform works for both. We have school systems as small as 3 schools in a district, an elementary school, middle school, and a high school, all the way to the largest districts in the nation, such as Dallas, Fort Worth, and Los Angeles as customers. So we can serve whatever your needs are. What you see on the screen right now is our Career Central tab. Students can search for careers a variety of ways. They can search by just typing in the box. Let's say you have a student that's interested in nursing. They can type nurse in the box, and these are careers that we have in the platform around nursing. Maybe they want to be a welder. They can just type welding or welder in the box, and welding will come up, or engineering. So as you can see, students can just type in the box careers, and as it searches for those careers will populate. Other ways that students can search for careers are on the left side of the screen. If you look at the left side of the screen, our students can search by featured. So as we launch new careers and they're featured, they will populate here. Students can also search by cluster. We have every cluster represented plus energy. So there are 17 clusters. So if you're an ag teacher and you want to discuss with the students careers associated with an agriculture focus, then those will populate here. Let's say that you are in health science. Those careers will populate here. Or STEM, careers in STEM will populate here. A few things I want to point out while we're on the clusters. We have a series of videos and career profiles in the platform that focus on individuals with disabilities. So if you have students in your classroom with IEPs and they want to search for careers that are appropriate for them, they can search for those careers as well. We also, throughout the platform, have a variety of non-traditional careers. So you're going to find careers where there are predominantly males, where females are working in that field, or where the opposite, a predominantly female career where males are working. Another thing that is impressive throughout the platform is the variety that you're going to find of genders, the variety of ethnicities, the variety of races. Our company tries to be proactive in including all of those types of people so that your students can see themselves in whatever career they dream of doing. Another way that students can search for careers is by education. Now, when I was in education, this was one of the tabs that I really appreciated. Ultimately, we want to encourage all of our students to get as much education as they can possibly get, but the reality is their education interests differ. So whether the student wants to go right into the workforce right out of high school, or whether they want to go all the way and get their doctoral degree, your students can have equitable access to career exploration based on whatever education interests they have. The student can search by industry. They can search by interest, by work importance, and then as we launch new careers, they populate here. For those of you who are interested in the NFL, we did film a career at the Titans Stadium in Nashville. I'm going to go back now to cluster, and I'm going to go into the health science cluster. I think as we look, health science commonly comes up in those high wage, high skill, high demand careers. So let's say that you have students in the health science cluster, and maybe they're interested in nursing. So I'm going to click on the nursing career profile. Very briefly, I'm going to push play and start the sound for you guys, and then I'll turn the sound off.
I work at Sibley Memorial Hospital in the operating room, and I'm a nurse. As an operating room nurse, I'm the patient advocate, and I will make sure that nothing happens to them. I will be their eyes and ears in the OR, and I will look out for them as best I can. Everybody works together. We're a team. There's a lot of collaborations between the doctors and the nurses and the support staff. I feel that the doctors at Sibley respect the nurses, and the nurses respect each other. Once the patient comes into the OR, we'll get you settled on the OR table.
So what you're listening to and viewing on the screen is a 3 to 5 minute job shadowing video. Our production crew goes on the job site. They take actual video footage of a day in the life of the job, and then they create a job shadowing video. Our videos have closed captioning in English or Spanish. We also have a transcript in English or Spanish. And in development right now that is getting ready to launch, more options for multi-languages or more Spanish options throughout the platform. I'm not really sure when that's going to launch, but that's coming really soon. After the students have finished their job shadowing video, then we have a series of Q&A videos. And these are questions that we've asked specifically about the career of this person, and they've answered them in a Q&A format. So not only do the students get to experience the job shadowing video, they also get to experience an interview with this person. Also in development and coming really soon is an opportunity for students to join live industry chats where they can chat with people in the industry in real time. After the students have watched the videos, then we have a career description for each career. We have the required education for each career. We have earnings, and this can be filtered by state. So it automatically defaults to Tennessee for me because that's where I live. But if you have a student that lives, let's say, in far east Tennessee, and they want to move to Virginia, they could even search for the wages in the state of Virginia or another state as well. You could also have your students compare wages in Tennessee to the national wage to another state. There's a future outlook for each career. This is pulled from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. There are additional links. If you want them to go find an outside source, this may be a place where they could go get the information about industry certifications. There's also a college search. This too can be filtered by state. So these are the colleges that have reported they either have this program of study or they have the prerequisites for this program of study. So the students can see all the schools in Tennessee that have this program of study. And then we have this really cool feature, and I really love this. I think it's so user-friendly and useful for the teachers. So students can go out on the web and they can find jobs that are posted in real time in an area where they want to live. So let's say you have a student and they want to work in Gallatin, Tennessee. So they can do a search for jobs that were posted in nursing in Gallatin. So as you can see, here's a patient care technician, here's a chemotherapy technician, here is a summer CNA class. So whether the students can search for jobs that they may qualify for based on the credentials that they've earned in their health science program, or you could also use this as an opportunity to show those students what a real job posted with credentials looks like. So here's an LPN. High school students are not necessarily going to qualify for this. You could use this as an opportunity to go out on the web and show those students what is required to apply for that job. They could also apply for jobs. Let's say that you have a student who's finished the CNA program through your health science program. They could actually go out on the web. They could find this job and even apply if they qualify. After the students have finished their research, they can click on Related Careers, and it takes them back over to the careers that most likely match the one they just viewed. Now, if you're a teacher and you want to take a grade based on the student's research, the student can add this career to their favorites. They can create a playlist. Every career profile has an embedded pop quiz and an embedded career journal. So if you want to take a grade and you want the students to participate in that, you can have them take the pop quiz and do the career journal. And then you, as the teacher on the back end, will have access to this information. And I'll show you how to get that as well. I'm going to go back out into Career Central now, and I'm just going to choose another cluster. Let's say manufacturing. So let's say you have a student and they're interested in being a CNC programmer or machinist. If we click here, as you can see, this format is exactly the same. So the students, if the students can navigate through one career profile, they can navigate through all of the career profiles. Now, also under careers, we have a feature called life skill videos. These are videos around the topics that you see on the left side of the screen. Some are social emotional topics and others are like workforce readiness and workplace readiness or soft skills. These videos can be watched independently or they can be embedded into a flex lesson. I'm going to show you flex lessons in just a moment. Your students can search for colleges under the colleges tab. They can go to the search feature. They can filter by school type, by degree type, by state, by major, and by test score or tuition. So let's say that you have a student and they want to get a 4-year degree, a bachelor's degree, and they want to study in the state of Tennessee, and they have an ACT of 21, pretend. So maybe they're interested in Freed-Hardeman, and let's say they're interested in Lee University. So if they favorite those schools, then they can go to compare colleges. Under the comparison colleges, they can do a side-by-side comparison of information about these schools. They can see cost, they can see what room and board cost, they can get SAT averages or ACT averages, they can see what's required or recommended. We have links to their websites, and then we have links to majors. So let's say that you have a student and they're interested in becoming a teacher, then these are the links to the programs that we have, to the programs. So let's say that you have a student and they're interested in special education. So if they click right there, this takes them to Career Central, where we just came from. So it connects this career to this major at this particular college. So it connects the career of their choice to a college of their choice where they can study that program, where they can complete that program of study. Under the Jobs tab, as you saw the Job Search tab, you saw how that works. Under the Internships, it works exactly the same way. So let's say that you have a student and they are looking for an internship. So here are internships posted in Memphis, Tennessee. So let's say, again, you have a health science student and they are in pre-pharmacy. They would qualify for this pharmacy intern experience. The Job Search tab and the Internships tab pull from the web. We interface with Indeed, and it pulls from the web, but then we have a work-based learning board. So these are experiences that you get that are just specific to your students. So for example, let's say the local Sonic, we have a Sonic here in my town. So let's say the local Sonic holds 3 positions for you each year that are just specific to your work-based learning program. Or maybe you have some local businesses, local healthcare facilities that just hold positions for your clinical experiences for your students. So they don't want to post those out on the web because they're not open to the public. They're only open through a partnership that you have with your industries in your town. So you could post those positions on the work-based learning board and your students would be able to see them just like they would see these experiences, but these would only be visible to your students. Now they look exactly like we just posted this one here as an example. Clearly, we do not have an internship at Disney, but this is what it would look like if you posted that position. And I'll show you where you can post those on your side. But the job search and internships tab pulls from the web. This would be information that you entered specific to your students. Under the Tools tab, we have 4 activities. We have a goal setting activity, a post-secondary planner, and a resume builder. These are template style activities that the students can go in, they can type in the box. If they're not sure what to put in that box, they can hover over that question mark and it tells them the kind of information that goes in the box. The students can create these, can complete these activities independently, or they can be embedded into a flex lesson. And I'll show you flex lessons just a little bit later. Under the Assessments tab, we have 4 interest surveys. We have the Career Cluster Interest Survey, and we have the easy version. We also have the O-Net Interest Profiler and the O-Net Work Importance Locator. Now, some examples of ways that you could use these. You could do the easy version for your 6th graders. You could do the Career Cluster Interest Survey for your 7th and 8th graders. And then in 9th grade in Career Exploration, or whatever, you could do the O-Net Interest and the O-Net Work Importance. You could also do all of them in middle school. The great thing about these is that you can pick and choose how you assign them and when the students complete them. One way that I used this one, if you have a student with cognitive delays or they're significantly developmentally delayed and you need a modified version, this is a shortened version and appropriate for those students as well. Now, with these assessments, you can download the results and copy and paste into a portfolio or whatever, or you can view the results. If the student clicks submit and they view their results, it automatically connects them to the careers that most likely match their interest. So based on this particular student's assessments, then they automatically get to see what the results are from their interest. Now, another way that you can use this data, let's go to the O-Net, for example. Based on this student's results, they would do really well in an area where social skills are necessary. However, let's say that you have a student and they're really interested in being a graphic designer. Based on this particular assessment, this student scored really low in artistic. So this gives you the data to back up that conversation with the student to say, do you really know and understand what a graphic designer does? So let's go over here and see, because based on the results of this assessment, you may not enjoy doing this. So this gives you the data to back up the conversation with the student to say, do you really know and understand what your interests are and what those careers involve? Now, the My Assignments tab this is where the tabs begin to differ. The student has a My Assignments tab, the teacher has a My Admin tab. When the student clicks on My Assignments, this is a dashboard of lessons that have been assigned to the student that automatically populate to that student. The student is able to see what they need to start. They're able to continue where they left off in the last class period, and they're able to view the results of the things they have finished. And again, this is our flex lessons. I'm going to show you more detailed flex lessons when we get to the teacher side. One last thing I want to show you under the student dashboard, if they click on Profile and they scroll all the way to the bottom and click on Download Plan, everything that they have done is right here in one particular, in one place where the students are able to go download all of this information in one place, and they're not having to click out into a bunch of different places to get this information. Another thing, for those of you teachers who like for your students to keep up with their own activity and their own grades, and to be responsible for themselves in your classroom, if the student clicks on activity, everything that they have done in the platform is right here in one place. So there's no reason why the student would not know where they stand in your class at all times. So they could click on assignments. This shows them the assignments, that the lessons that have been assigned to them. It shows them the grades. It shows them when it was created and when it was submitted. The pop quizzes that they've taken, it also shows them their grades to the pop quizzes. It can show them what their videos watched are. It can show them what their top careers are, what their goals are, and so forth and so on. So everything that they've done in the platform is right here in one place, where it's just, they simply just click in these areas rather than having to go all the way back through these tabs at the top and find it. So that's an overview of the student dashboard. Here's a place where their local links are going to show. I'm going to show you more details about that in just a moment as well. So now I'm going to show you the teacher side of the platform very quickly. As I said, careers, colleges, jobs, and tools work exactly the same for the teacher and the student. So there's no need for us to go back through these tabs. Under the admin tab, here's where you'll work behind the scenes to make this a great experience for your students. Their tab said My Assignments. Under the Manage Users tab, now let me say this, we can connect to your single sign-on. So if you have like Google Classroom or Clever or ClassLink or whatever, we can connect to those, or Canvas, connect to that. However, let's say that in September you have a teacher that goes on a medical leave or a maternity leave, and you want to get the substitute teacher in so that your students never miss a beat. So you can go into Manage Users and add the substitute teacher here. Under the Reports tab, this is a place that teachers and CTE directors love. So the great thing about the Reporting tab is that you can run reports on just about anything in the platform, as broad as every user in the platform, all the way as simple as specific grade, specific group, or a specific student. Maybe you're getting ready to have a sit-in on an annual IEP meeting for one of your special education students, and you want to download reports on just that student, you can do that. Or maybe you tell a specific group of students you want them to take the pop quiz over nursing. You can create a report that shows the pop quiz grades that comes out in an Excel spreadsheet, and you can just copy and paste right into your online grade book. Another report that CTE directors use often, and I found it to be beneficial, is this overview report. So the overview report, what you see on the screen right now, is a usage report, and then at the bottom, this was a report that I used when I wrote my comprehensive local needs assessment or got ready for monitoring. So in that report, where you have to write that narrative about what the labor market demand says is a high wage, high skill, high demand career, and you have to compare it to what you offer and what your student interests are, this gives you information that you can use as you write that narrative. Also, if these are the top careers of your students, you absolutely want these people represented at your career day. So this is just good information to have as you look through the reports. Flex Lessons is my next favorite feature in the platform. I think this is game-changing for teachers. So under the Flex Lesson, these are lessons that have been written by our team. Some are social emotional, some are soft skills, some are post-secondary planning. It really just depends. You can assign these lessons as we've written them, or you can clone them and edit. So an example of a time that you might just assign one as it's written. Let's say that you are a mama or a daddy, and you have a 5-year-old that starts throwing up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you need really quick sub-lesson plans. So you could log in right from home. You could assign a lesson to all of your students. Then they could just log right into virtualjobshadow.com at school, and the sub plans are automatically, the students already have automatic access to that lesson. But let's say that you are a maintenance and light repair teacher, and maybe you want your students to creatively think how to find the problem in the engine of a car. So you could clone this lesson. Once you clone this lesson, it will show up now over in My Lessons. So here's the lesson. So now you can go in and edit. So you can delete the pieces of the lesson that you don't want to use. You can change up the order if you want to do that. And then at the bottom, you can add an activity. So you may want to add the career profile of a maintenance technician in the shop. And then you want to add a YouTube video of how to access the problem in an engine. And then maybe you want to add a Google Classroom document where the students collaborate on what they think may be the problem with the engine. So you can totally edit this lesson and make it fit your standard based on whatever it is you're teaching. You also have the ability to create a new lesson from scratch. So let's go back to my career in my start. So let's say you want to create a new lesson and you want to do a human services lesson on making a family budget. You could totally create a new lesson from scratch, and you could use components, you could use outside sources, you could use whatever. You would just create that lesson. You could just call it budgeting. I think I misspelled that, typing too fast, sorry. Then you could add an activity. So you could add whatever lesson activity you want in that lesson to make it fit the standard that you're teaching in your classroom today. And you could save and save.
Melinda, you asked me to give you a time warning, and also we have 3 questions from the chat whenever you are ready to address those.
All right, thank you. I'm almost finished, and I will answer those questions very quickly. Another thing that you can do from the Flex Lessons feature is you can manage those lessons once you've assigned them. So if I wanted to go in right here and I wanted to grade this lesson, I could click on this student. I could see what she's answered, and I could view her her results. I could leave comments for her if I wanted to and give her a final grade. A few other things that you can do under admin, you can build a playlist. So let's say you're virtual and you want to do let's say a virtual career day. You could build a playlist and assign that out through a Flex lesson with a student. Another feature that I love is local links. This is like a website favorites that you can add rather than the students going out into their website favorites. These are websites that you want your students to have easy access to. So you could just add that link. Those links will show up under local links right here. So these are website favorites that your students can just have easy access to. You could add the FAFSA, a link to the FAFSA. You could add a link to the Common App website. You could add links to your advisory council. If you have business partners that you want to add links to their websites, you could do those here as well. Here is where you would add your work-based learning placements. And then under curriculum, we have these lessons that are written in a lesson plan format that you can download and use as you wish in your classrooms. Now, one last thing that I want to point out is on the home page, we are going to provide training for you. However, let's say that you have a teacher and they just want to see the training again. We have a full training video that they can watch as many times as they want. And then we also have these tutorial videos where you can go in and see how to do a specific thing or topic in the site. We also have a messaging feature in the platform if you want to message back and forth to your students or to an entire class. You could do that as well. One last thing that I want to point out, once you purchase, we're going to provide training for you as well as your very own dedicated account manager. And I will tell you, having been a CTE director and a supervisor of instruction, that account manager was critical to me. She checked in with me often. I could bounce ideas off of her. We utilized the program, and my teachers that used it loved it. So we used it for career exploration as well as work-based learning. So that is a really quick overview of the platform. Now, if we could, I'll just answer some questions and then we will wind this thing up. So Christine, if you want to go ahead with the questions, I will be happy to answer those now.
All right, the first question was, you said your school system paid for this platform. Does it have to be purchased, or does that just provide more features, and about how much does it cost?
It is purchased, and it's purchased by the site license. I use my Perkins money. However, after working for the company, I see how other districts do it. Sometimes Perkins will pay for it. Sometimes title funding will pay for it. Sometimes we get a variety, like special education will pay a portion and CTE will pay a portion because it serves both areas. So and pricing is by the site and then based on whatever tier you fall into. And it's really hard on a call like this to get into pricing. It's very affordable. It's on a tiered basis. So it's like up to 300 students and then up to 600 students. So if someone would like to email me what their school, and just that, I can tell you that very first tier, it's up to 300 students, and then I think it's like $2,000. So, but I can talk about pricing individually if someone wants to email me that. And I'm going to give you my email in just a moment.
The next question is, how often is the information on Career Central updated so that it is current and relevant?
It is updated often. The most, like the college search, the career updates, all of that we update annually. And as long as like the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and as long as those colleges have updated, ours is updated because we pull from that information. Indeed updates in real time, and then our career profiles are updated regularly. And there really isn't a time frame on those. Our CEO is a former producer for ESPN, so she's very particular about making sure the videos are up to date and they're informative and they're entertaining. The last thing that we want is for your students to be sitting in a classroom making fun of the hairstyles or the clothing that people are wearing. So she's very particular about making sure those videos are up to date and relevant in today's time. If we find a video that is out of date or becomes irrelevant, we immediately take it down and begin the process of replacing that video.
All right, and the last question is, are all quizzes, results, job applications, etc., available to be downloaded for distribution in the classroom?
I think there is a PDF. That's a really good question that that I would have to look, but I have gone in. The way I do that is just go to that page. Let's say a career description. Maybe you have a student that requires a handout. The way I would do that is just go to that page and do it like a Control P, and then you could do like a select all. You could select it and then select all. But those PDFs that you can generate where the students have completed those documents, those absolutely can be downloaded or printed.
And I believe that concludes our questions because the next one was for the keyword.
All right, well, I'm about to get there. If we can go into, I just want to go through the poll questions. If you can finish those as you have time. I would love to just gather the data on what features you think are the most important when it comes to an online career readiness program. What do you think you would use most in your classroom? And you can select, those are multiple selections, so you can select more than one of those. And then also enter the questions for the speaker, and I think we've already done that. My contact information is here. Please feel free to reach out to me. I love my Tennessee folks. My heart is really with you guys right now. My sister is a principal here in the state of Tennessee, and she's working really hard, as I know all of you are as well, to make sure that the return of school is success. And then the keyword for today is vanilla. It's here, so feel free to jot that down. Thank you guys so much for joining the call. Feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear feedback from you guys as well. So I'll stay on for another moment to just answer questions that you may have. And if there are no questions, then I will, I'm going to add the keyword here as well, so you guys can write down my you can write down my phone number and email if you so choose. And I see on the attendee list some of my former students. So I love having you guys here. Thank you so much for joining today. I miss you. I loved our time in FCCLA. I also see friends on the attendee list. So thank you guys for joining as well, former colleagues that I have worked with. I'm super excited that you're here to join us today. All right, Christine, if we don't have any more questions, I think that always a good presenter lets the attendees out early, right?
All right, I don't see any more questions, just see lots of thanks and well wishes to you.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining. Have a fantastic day. I hope your conference goes really well.